existence. Let the world know that there are also these women who are doing certain things.
When you look at AFIDEP, there's quite a number of women where I work right now. But I think in general, when you look at the statistics, yes, there are fewer women in the research field.
I think already that's a reflection of the issues we're having, the fact that there are fewer women in the sciences. So that might have been a bit of an issue for me because I wasn't sure. I'm venturing into a field that I was sort of directed by men, so I wasn't sure if it's the kind of place where I'd fit in or I'd be looked at that one weird person venturing into something that's meant for men. Yes, there have been women in science as I was growing up, but I don't know, maybe for me they were not within my reach, so to speak. I know of women out there who are scientists, but they didn't really have an impact on me personally, which is unfortunate because I think we should be able to learn from other women.
I don't think I ever planned to get into research. I know that growing up, particularly when I was in high school, every time people would ask me, what do you want to do? Or whenever I thought about what I wanted to do, I would say I want to be a scientist. At that point, I didn't have any idea scientist in what. Like, what would I be researching on? But it just excited me that I'm someone who researches, like you keep discovering something every day. So for me, I wanted to be a scientist for a very long time. Perhaps from the time I was in primary school, I didn't know what I wanted to be a scientist for.
For me, it's not so much of, like it wasn't a conscious choice to get into research. I would say more like I was born into research because I'm naturally inquisitive. I like knowing, I like finding out why things work the way they do. So it was more of just watching different people around. I emulated a few people that I grew up with, and I think for me, those were the people that were already in the science-related field, and I was like, okay, I'd like to understand why certain things happen this way, and I'm also particularly interested in human beings, so I think that's how I found myself specifically in social sciences. So I'd be studying human beings, human behavior, what makes somebody tick, why would one person react to a situation in a different way from another one. So here I am.
The fact that girls and women many times, I mean, even though we have improved in Africa, in the world in general, in terms of getting girls and women to school and ensuring that they progress, a sizable proportion or a significant proportion of girls still are not able to advance in their education, in their careers, because of these cultural beliefs and views about the position of girls and women in society. I mean, obviously poverty is a big deal, but poverty commingles with culture. And so if a family finds itself in a situation where they don't have resources to take their children to school, or enough resources for that matter, they're going to make the decision now as a second level based on who they think is going to be more valuable in terms of investing. And more often than not, the girl is going to be, or the girl can get married so we can generate income that way, and the boy can advance because that's important for the boy.
When I think very much about African culture, I'm thinking about things that often girls have to go through. Things like getting married very early. You know, if you're getting married at 13, there's no way you are getting into, a scientist. Going on to do all your degrees and your PhD. So that alone, the issue of early marriages, and actually there are lots of cultures that promote that. Issues of looking at women as the people who stay at home to take care of families, particularly when you think about women as families that seem to succeed because the woman is the one who is taking care of that. And so often in African culture, if marriages fail, for instance, then often it's because the woman, maybe she was not at home. So things like that mean that women feel that they have to spend more time with the children, they have to spend more time at home with family, cooking, and just making their families happy. And that does not go well with science, because science needs a lot of time, needs a lot of commitment. So in a way, when you think about that, the way our culture has treated women and their role, or rather the burden, sorry, I'm calling it burden, but the burden that culture puts on women, on families succeeding, means that them succeeding in science becomes quite hard, because science needs a lot of time.
It's well acknowledged that women actually work a lot more than men because of these extra responsibilities that women have in the household, and this work is largely unpaid. So for women, I mean, when you have all these responsibilities, you have a career, you have to take care of the home, which you're largely doing on your own. It means that the time that you can invest in your career is much less than the time a man would be able to invest. And therefore, men will tend to look like they are contributing a lot more in the workplace and will advance further.
One of the things that I think the field of science is missing out on by having fewer women, I think one of them is a better understanding, particularly on challenges or issues that often affect girls and women. So because there aren't as many women in science, there isn't as much science happening in some of these issues that often even hold women down. For instance, issues like menstruation and the kind of challenges that women go through around menstruation, and even difficulties like some women experience so much pain, they call it endometriosis, so much pain during menstruation that often causes or leads to infertility later in life. So because there aren't as many women in research, I think areas like those are not very well researched extensively for us to really understand what the issues are and how can these issues be better addressed. I'm saying that because some of these are issues that it's only women who really go through them. And if the people who are experiencing these are not necessarily leaders in science, then the focus will not necessarily be very much on some of these issues. The other thing that I think science is missing up on because of the fewer women is I think the fact that women and men, and maybe it's biologically or socially, often address issues very differently. And I think men, to me, come across as people who are they're looking for very black and white, answers to questions. Whereas often women are more on to kind of have a deeper understanding of issues other than just saying these are yes or no. So when you think about quantitative and qualitative, I mean, I think women, because of the nature of their character, in terms of the way they talk and they discuss issues, I think that kind of rich, qualitative kind of the way women approach problems. Science is missing out on that because of the fewer women in this. Because men, I think they're more quantitative, and you ask a question, you want an answer of yes or no, and you're not like really digging deeper to have a good sense of the social issues underlying problems. And so I think in a way science has missed or continues to miss out on qualitative, rich understanding of societal problems because women are fewer in this area. And I think it's the whole issue of quantitative evidence being more seen to be the one speaking rather than qualitative evidence. Again, because men are more in the hard sciences, the numbers and all that. And so the qualitative evidence is not coming in a strong way to really enhance science, the way we understand science. And partly, I don't have evidence, but partly that could be because of the very few women, within science.
Awareness is the key. Awareness in the sense that people need to be made aware of the already existing women that are in science. The issue is, like I say, they are there. We just don't know they're there. Let me give an example. I think like Safaricom has this program, the Women in Technology, and they use it as a mentorship program. So if we had such programs that, set up a platform for women where they can come and learn different skills, and other women can learn from that. So you have women that have learned the skill, and they can then continue to mentor other young girls that want to enter into that field. I think UNESCO also has a program for women in science, things like those. There's the next Einstein Forum, which I just discovered this morning. So if we had more programs on that being circulated or shared or marketed, so that we know that these opportunities are there, it would actually add a great deal to the sciences.
I mean, I think there should be opportunities, particularly that prioritize, like if you're going to give awards or scholarships for science that prioritize women or girls, be they for university, or even for getting into some of these top schools, because some kids get scholarships to get into some really top schools, So they could introduce awards like those and kind of have them give women some preference. That would be really good, I think. They may already be there, but I don't know to what extent they actually, give girls preference. They probably do. But that is an area that if nothing is being done already, I don't know. It's an area that could help, more women get into science. The other one might be, I'm starting to think now of women who already have their PhDs and how they stay there and kind of compete with the others. The way the science field, the way it's structured is such that you publish or you perish. You know what I mean? And so if women are not publishing, then they will perish. Now, what can they do about that for now? I think with the way things are starting to change, and probably this is very radical, but I think there are various opportunities coming up that science also needs to consider, so that publishing or perish should not only be about publishing scientific papers in top journals, that for you to rise in science, you should be able to be engaging, blogging on the areas you're working on, because these are things that people could do quite easily other than, writing papers. I'm not saying we drop scientific papers altogether. Women want to publish, but often it's that they don't have as much time as men do to really publish good papers. But can they open up science to blogging, to interviews in the press, to really engaging the publics with your science as a way of being seen as someone who is doing well in science, other than just scientific publications. So I think opening science up to look at scientific publications, but also to look at other things that women could be doing and could do much easier than, writing scientific papers, could be another way of getting women to rise up within science and stay there and continue engaging.
If you don't have women in such leadership positions and who've really who understand what really a woman undergoes, in some instances, institutional reforms, even trying to come up with flexible working hours for women, such policies, and you also looking at the policies in relation to maternal and even paternal leave. So for me, I feel if you have more women into science, and especially into the science, the leadership aspects, there will be more of institutional reforms that will actually bring much more women into science.